the Indianapolis Colts get a deal done with Jonathan Taylor. Now, his agent is doing a victory lap because they got a deal done, especially because guys like me said this was a bad business move. Everything you did was bad. You made Jonathan Taylor get hated in Indianapolis. There's a new culture being built. You're the only guy holding it back. Nobody wanted to trade for you. Now you're on PUP. It's a contract year. His numbers are going to be down because he missed it. None of that matters. Malky and JT get a deal done somehow in the face of adversity through the public and behind the scenes. How'd this come together? 2 years, $26.5 million pretty much guaranteed for him. And what is the plan now with him? Because it feels like they're going to just try to work him back as Zach Moss, who's been running back for us the first 5 weeks, continues to explode.
See, a couple of things here that are interesting and instructive, I think. We've seen a number of situations unfold this year with various players. We go back to last year, Deebo Samuel saying that I'll never play for the 49ers again and doesn't want to play and wants to be traded. We see players all the time go combative against the team. Agents come out. Agents' jobs, Pat, are to get the deal. They don't care what you or anybody else is saying about them. Their job is to get.
Well, this guy definitely cared. I mean, you know, he's doing it. He definitely cared.
Of course, but again, in the end, ultimately, his job is to get a deal. And in a running back market that has been shrinking, Jonathan Taylor got a deal in the end that averages $14 million a year. He helped raise the bar to a spot that Saquon Barkley and Josh Jacobs and Tony Pollard didn't get it to this summer. So the fact of the matter is, whatever happened, whatever tactics they used in the end worked. But we always felt, and I don't believe it ever changed, that Jonathan Taylor wasn't stepping back on that football field until he had a deal done. And I think the Colts wanted to see him on his best behavior. They wanted to see him come back, start practicing, start speaking. He did all those things. He did all those things and more. And so in the end, I think both sides had an understanding. We're going to work to get an agreement done that is something that both sides can live with, that both sides want, that's a win for both sides. And in the end, they essentially had the framework for this deal in place throughout the course of the week. On Friday night, I think Jonathan Taylor and Chris Ballard or Jim Irsay met in person. They kind of put the finishing touches on it. Saturday morning, they go over the details, and they get the deal done. 3 years, $42 million, 26.5 guaranteed. Again, raises the bar for other running backs. It's the first multi-year running back deal worth over $10 million a year in almost 800 days since Nick Chubb got one. So it doesn't happen. It hasn't happened. And whatever both sides did, it worked in the end. Because the Colts got a foundational franchise type of player.
We hope.
And Jonathan Taylor got the type of deal that has not existed in the running back market. So it worked out the way it should have. He wasn't traded. He never got close to being traded, despite all the facts that the Packers expressed some interest, the Dolphins expressed some interest. It never came close to happening. And I think in a way that maybe the Colts' plan was to allow him to go out and see that nobody's going to trade what we value you at. Well, if we value at a certain price, picks that we don't get, well, then pay the man the way that you're valuing him. And in the end, that's what the Colts did. Now, again, they have to ramp him back up. He didn't go through training camp all summer. This was his first week of drill, so Zach Moss got a lot of work. But over time, it's a situation where he's going to get more and more work.
Yeah, and we can't wait to see him get back to form that we saw a couple years ago. Him being healthy was the big thing he talked about in the press conference. Happy to hear about that. He was introduced second to last. Offense was introduced. AR was introduced last because he is our guy. But the crowd, hey, welcome back.
Oh, yeah.
We were happy for him to be back on the field. And then we see Zach Moss go for 100 and whatever.
Yeah.
And then we do that whole thing. It's like, all right, we got time, I guess, for Jonathan Taylor to get back. Sets an interesting precedent, though, for Chris Ballard to deal with. Heard Edgerrin James was a part of this as well. Is that true?
That I didn't hear, but I'm sure there were other people involved. I hadn't heard Edgerrin was involved. Doesn't surprise me. Edgerrin's a very smart guy.
Very smart guy and very close to Irsay as well.
Yeah.
And obviously, dog whenever it comes to running backs.